Hello, welcome to One Africa Mission with your brother Dubia Anzanse. Please, if you haven't joined our mission yet, One Africa Mission, the number one Africa Mission, we are missionaries. We are on a mission, and our mission is all about the unification of our continent and the dignity of our race. Please, if you want a dignified Africa for the next generation of Africans, if you are not happy with the Africa that you inherited from your forefathers, from your ancestors, which I know me and you were not happy with, we are not happy with an Africa where the children of Africa are being disrespected all over the world. Me and you know our reality. We are not happy with that Africa, but we cannot blame our forefathers for the Africa that we inherited from them. They didn't know better. Today, me and you know better. And then we have the chance never before afforded to any generation of Africans to make Africa a better place for all her children. But that will only come from us, me and you. We have to come together to fight for a united Africa. That is why we are here, One Africa Mission. So please support our mission. Let us all together bring our energies to fight for a united, better Africa. How do you support us? Is by subscribing to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, on TikTok, share what we are doing, pass your comments. Those of you who are doing that, we really appreciate it. We are learning a lot from your comments. Please don't just watch, share, pass your comments. Let us all together fight for a united Africa, not just for us, but for the next generation of Africans. They will be proud of us if we can leave a dignified Africa for them. I thank you very much for coming around. So as we talk about dignity and then unity, what unity can give us, I want us to go to America and listen to what the Americans decided that they want to help Africa, or they want to support Africa to have 2 permanent seats at the United Nations. Let's go and listen to what, can we really trust them? Let's go and listen to what they said and come back and analyze it. US back 2 permanent seats for African nations on the UN Security Council. The United States announced Thursday that it will support the addition of 2 new permanent seats for African countries on the powerful UN Security Council. Powerful UN Security Council. Yeah. And a first ever non-permanent seat for a small island developing nation. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, made the announcement in a speech to the Council on Foreign Relations, calling it a follow-up to U.S. President Joe Biden announcement 2 years ago that the United States support expanding the 15-member body. While Africa has 3 non-permanent seats on the Security Council, that doesn't allow African countries to deliver the full benefit of their knowledge and voices. She added. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to go through everything that she said, because I don't believe a single thing that she's saying. You can never believe these people. And the reason why I say you can never believe them, or I don't believe them, is I want us to go and listen to her interview after this announcement. Let's go and listen to her interview and you will understand what I'm talking about. Let's listen to it, come back and analyze it.
We don't want to give up our veto power. And we do think if we expand that veto power across the board, it will make the council more dysfunctional. We have indicated that we support 2 permanent seats for Africa. How that plays out on the African continent will be up to the Africans to determine.
So the Africans will determine who those permanent members
They're going to run and have to be voted on by 193 members. But who are their candidates for this? They'll decide that themselves.
Because
it's not for me to tell the Africans,
right,
you need to take South Africa, or you need to take Egypt, or you need to take Kenya. They will determine who will run for their seat.
Yes. So after this this announcement that they're going to support Africa, she went on to grant an interview, and what did she say? She said they cannot allow Africa to have veto power. And that is the most important thing. They cannot allow Africa to have a veto power. So what is the basis, or what is the reason of this supporting us with these 2 permanent seats at the United Nations Security Council? What is the benefit? If we cannot have a veto power, and this is what Malcolm X was telling us, do not let your oppressor give you your freedom. Freedom is taken, it's not given. if somebody give you your freedom, if your oppressor give you your freedom, they can equally come back and take it. And that is exactly what these people are telling us. They can give us 2 permanent seats, but they can never give us veto power.
We don't want to give up our veto power. And we do think if we expand that veto power across the board, it will make the council more dysfunctional.
So anytime they want, they can just wake up, come. And these 2 permanent seats, they have already select the countries and the people that they will put there. They will put their own puppet, because we know in Africa they have puppet countries, they have puppet leaders that they will put there. Why do they want to give us 2 permanent seats? These people at any given time, they always want to create confusion between Africans. Because as we speak, we're already coming out to talk about which country should be what country should be what, how should we rotate it and stuff like that. Why can't they just give us 1 permanent seat with a veto power? This is what we want. Africa is 1, Africa is not 2. So we don't want 2 permanent seats. We want 1 permanent seat with a veto power, so that we can use that power to enhance our security as Africans, so that you cannot wake up and just come and then start bombarding us, threatening us, and start doing whatever you want in Africa. No, we want 1 permanent seat with a veto power, not 2 seats. As we speak, there's already discussion as to the African Union will hold 1 seat, and the other seat will be rotational. It will go to North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, and stuff like that. We don't want that. We don't have time for that as Africans. We want 1 permanent seat that you cannot have control over, because you want to have control over us. You always want to crush us, our heads, so that the 2 seats can be one can be given to the African Union chairperson, the other can be given to the regional bodies, so that this year it will rotate from this country to that country to this country. We don't want that. This is not the Africa that we want. And then she mentioned some countries. Why did she mention those countries? Preempting, already programming, getting us our minds ready, because these are the countries that if they want to give us permanent seat, these are the countries that they will prefer. Egypt, South Africa, Kenya. No, we don't want that. We want 1 seat with a veto power. That is what we want. We don't want your hypocrisy anymore. And then can we even trust you? You see, and this is the time that African leaders should take advantage of what is going on in the world. These people are in a serious competition with China and Russia. They are doing this not because they love Africa. They are doing this because they want to compete with China. And this is what we've been telling our leaders. You see, this is the time our leaders should act smart. This is what we've been telling you. Without us, they are nothing. And yet they are making it look the other way. And today, these are the evidence. Just because we have Africa and China forum, and China is doing this, Russia is doing this in Africa, they are doing this to counter Russia and China, not because they love us. Because if they really do, it is not today that we've been calling for to have permanent seat at the United Nations. Reforming the United Nations. Our leaders have talked about that. They have cried for that until some of them pass away. The likes of Robert Mugabe. They
supposed to be free, the 54 countries. We come to the United Nations, it's ceremonial. Every year, September, we are there. We pay lots of money to go there. And to the General Assembly, we make speeches, we go back home, year in, year out. But the bosses in the Security Council say, you shall never have the powers that we have as permanent members. And we have asked and asked and asked. And asked and asked. Reform the Security Council.
For the United Nations to have reforms. And today, because of China and Russia influence in Africa, you are coming out and you are giving us 2 seats. And then you are telling us that 2 seats, we cannot even have veto power. So what is the essence of giving us these 2 seats? You know why? Because if they give us that 2 seats, this is what they will do to us. Listen to a United Nations, Deputy Secretary General. Listen to him. He cannot even answer a simple question. Listen to him.
Do you think the presence of the U.S. military in Syria is illegal or not?
That's not an issue that we're dealing with at this stage. There's been a war.
But is that because it
there's-
sounds very familiar. This week we talk a lot about the UN Charter, the international law, and relative resolutions. But it sounds to me a foreign military based presence in another country without invitation sounds like something else to me. You know.
I'll leave your analysis to you. That there's at this stage.
What's the difference
at this
between
stage,
Syria,
there's no,
the situation in Syria, and the situation in Ukraine?
There's no U.S. armed forces inside of Syria, and so I don't have a. It's not a parallel situation.
You're
to some of
sure
the
there's no U.S. military personnel?
I
in
believe there's
Syria?
military activity.
Yeah.
But in terms of a ground presence in Syria, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, 5 U.S. service members were injured in that attack. If there were no U.S. service members in Syria, how could they got injured? That's weird, right? Should I ask
Yeah.
you about that?
Yes, exactly. So this is exactly what they want to do to us. When they give you that 2 seat, you think they have given you something. They will still have control over us. We don't need it. This is not the time we need this kind of stuff. We don't need it. When the time of when Africa time comes for Africa to have permanent seat and veto power at the United Nations, we will. For now, I would have even called for Africa to boycott the United Nations. What has the United Nations done for our people in Congo? As we speak, our people in Congo are being unalive in Goma. What has the United Nations done for our people in Somalia? What has the United Nations done for the continent of Africa? Absolutely nothing. So why do we go to the United Nations? The time has come for Africa to boycott the United Nations. The United Nations has nothing good to offer us. Nothing. So their 2 permanent seats that they claim they want to give us is nothing. It's also a mirage. They're just trying to trick us. And African leaders should act smart. They should look smart. Please, African leaders, do not rush and take this offer from these people. Because if you take it 50 years to come, they have already planned 50 years ahead. It will take you another 50 years before they will offer you veto power. By then, the veto power in the United Nations will mean absolutely nothing. I thank you very much for coming around. Please, if you appreciate what we are doing, I'm calling on you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't just watch. Share it. Pass your comments. We are learning a lot from you. We thank you very much. Those of you who are doing that, we appreciate your support. Together, me and you, we will all stand for a dignified Africa. Not just for us, but for the next generation of Africans. Our names will be in the good books of history. That we were those who stand up and change the fortune of Africa. Join the Zion train. Let us all together fight for a united, better Africa. Thank you very much for coming around.